Hi, I'm Sue Yeager, and I was a part of the Jesus Movement back in the 70s when we started meeting at St. Paul's Church. I was raised in a home that had no spiritual upbringing, no religion in my home, and it was on a weekend, and a friend of mine asked, would I please go to St. Paul's and pick his sister up, who was actually at the meeting. And I did, and I pulled into the parking lot, and it was crowded, and I walked into the back of the church, and I met a man named Ken Gullickson there. And you're going to be hearing more about him, and you know who Ken Gullickson was. And we began to talk, and I peeked into the church, and it was packed with hundreds, maybe 1,000, I don't know how big the church was, but hundreds of people, young and old, and they were worshiping. And this was the first time I had ever experienced that kind of a setting. Obviously, I'd probably been in churches for a wedding or something like that, but I had never been in a church where this was going on. And my heart leapt, and I had no idea what was going on. I just knew whatever that was, I wanted it. So all through the week, I had a particularly difficult week. One of my best friends I was in nursing school with was killed in a car crash. And she was a Christian. And I had gone to her funeral, and I was heading back to the university for a lab, and it was raining. And I kept hearing this thought in my head that said, happy is the grave that rain falls on. And I just got this sense that my friend Marie was where she belonged, was where she needed to be. And again, I had no reference for that. I didn't know where that was. So I began counting the days to go back to Friday night chapel. And all of a sudden it was Friday night. And I went back all on my own. Ken was again in the back of the church. He greeted me. He invited me to stay. I went in, I sat down, I listened to a sermon. I didn't even know what a sermon was, but my heart was pounding the whole time. And then they gave an altar call, and they were playing this song, and you guys, some of you will remember it. It was called Come to the Water. And I remember not standing up, but literally jumping up and just bolting to the front. And again, I had no idea what this meant. But what I knew in that moment when I prayed a sinner's prayer was that I became a miracle of God's rescue. I immediately was plugged into this family, and with Ken and Joni, and then I began, I met the Walkers, and I met Russ Yeager, who is my husband of all of these years from the beginning days. And I just was knit in, just like that. And through no efforts of my own, all through the unction of the Holy Spirit. And I think it's just his amazing love for me that he put me in such a sound and a safe place for good teaching, good mentoring, and it produced wonderful growth in my life. It was a couple weeks later that I got baptized. I got saved in September. I got baptized October 31st, Halloween night, in a pool. And I don't even remember the people's name, but I just remember it was incredibly cold. But man, it was a life-changing episode for me, an event that was just one more yes to Jesus. And then just a couple weeks after that, a bunch of us had gone to hear George Otis. And he was at the Business Men's Fellowship. I'm sorry, I don't remember what it's called. But he shared a word, and then he said, if you want more of Jesus, go back to this room. And again, I don't know anything. I just know I found the love of my life. And so I said, that's me, I want more. So I walked to the back room, I walked in, it was crowded with people, I fell on the floor, and I began speaking in tongues. Nobody prayed for me. Nobody came over to me. It was just, again, this encounter with the Holy Spirit. And again, I will say, I never looked back. Whatever was behind me was done. It was over. And the only direction I knew I was going to go was forward. And so, chapel was amazing. And as I said, I met Russ there. I met Dale and Sharon and Steve and Karen and Buzzy, and we ended up getting married, and we've just grown up in this movement. And I think when I think on scriptures that say it for me, I love Psalm 34:8, and it says, just taste and see that the Lord is good. And I felt like every taste I got of the Lord was good. And it just began to bring healing in my life. For growing up in a dysfunctional home, I had to rethink and be reintroduced to a father's heart, because I didn't have that. And again, it just came with just amazing healing in my life. And it just set me on this journey of knowing the goodness of the Lord. And if there's anything I could share out of that, out of all of these years, it is that this has been a journey of the goodness of the Lord. And I love my family. Russ and I love each other. Our kids, we have 3 kids, Ben, Matt, Sarah, and we have 7 grandkids. And we're loving Jesus still at this time, 50 years later, we are loving Jesus. And I just want to say that it has been this journey of taste and see. And if there's anything I could leave you with, it is that we serve a very good God.